Welcome to the Andrea K Wellness Podcast, a space where we're breaking free from outdated, limiting, and often misogynistic ideas of health and redefining what it truly means to live well as a woman today. This podcast is more than just a conversation about numbers on a scale, anti-aging tips, and metabolism reboots. Those things are often associated with women's health, but for far too long, society has told you that you and your happiness relies on how small you are, how well you're aging, how quickly you bounce back after having a baby. And the Andrea K Wellness Podcast is going to put those myths to rest once and for all and get you off the hamster wheel of glorifying and chasing these unrealistic, unsustainable, and often unhealthy health goals that are really in the name of beauty. It's time to reclaim your power, define what health means to you, and to step into the freedom and the joy that you deserve. So welcome. I am so happy you're here with me. I have a lot to say, and I think you're going to enjoy all of this. I am Andrea. I'm the face, the voice, and the person behind the AKW brand. It was my own messy and often lonely, isolating, but always unapologetic journey. And that journey of dismantling years of limiting self-belief reinforced by social norms and beauty standards that inspired me to create this space and this podcast. I've worked in the health and wellness industry for almost 20 years, and more specifically in the fitness industry, which is often very toxic. I am still in the fitness industry, and I love that, and I use that space to empower women to be strong in their body. And in AKW, we are going to be using some of those same techniques to be strong in our body and our mind in a different way. My hope is for this podcast is provide a place of community that unites women on similar paths who otherwise might feel alone like I often did. To provide a voice that says you're enough, a voice that says get in the family photo. Nobody cares that you want to lose those last 10 to 15 pounds. They want to have a memory with you. A voice that says your face was beautiful at 25, it is beautiful now at 45, and it will be beautiful at 65 without spending a small fortune shooting toxins and fillers into your face. A voice that says you are not damaged, you are not broken, you are not flawed, and you don't need any more quick fixes or reboots or plastic surgeries to be worthy of happiness, love, or appreciation. So I just want to say thank you for being here. I am so excited to have you, and I am excited to share this journey with you. So if you enjoyed today's episode, I have two favors to ask you. First, wherever you're listening or watching this podcast, will you go ahead and like and follow the show? That way you'll never miss a show or an episode. And if you really enjoyed today's podcast episode, will you write a comment or a review wherever you're watching this show? Both of those things would mean the world to me. And that not only helps the podcast grow and helps me reach more women so that we can all start to dismantle these limiting self-beliefs associated with health and wellness. And that's really what it's all about. But it also helps me know what you're most interested in, what's hitting home for you, and what you want to know more about. And if I'm being completely honest, it's also a big boost for me because doing this podcast is stepping way outside of my comfort zone and showing up in ways that I am not used to or comfortable showing up. So your feedback is a helpful reminder for me to keep going one foot in front of the other, that this is powerful stuff that needs to be shared in a very public way. All right, back to the reason you're here with me today. So let's dig in to what we're going to talk about. The beauty, health, and wellness industries have a long history of profiting from women's insecurities, often by creating or amplifying unrealistic standards around appearance and attractiveness. Women's health is frequently presented through the lens of aesthetics rather than from like a more holistic well-being approach. These industries have manufactured problems and then sold us solutions to the problems that we didn't even realize we had until they told us we had them. We've been conditioned to believe things that are like normal signs of aging, like gray hair and wrinkles, are things that are bad and they need to be fixed. Things that we should be ashamed or embarrassed of. Things that if we don't take care of, we clearly are not taking care of our body. We've let ourselves go. We've been sold this lie that to remain relevant and desirable, we must have the perfect skin, fuller lips, and find ways to continuously shrink our bodies. We think the tiniest girl at the gym is the healthiest girl. And we ask her diet tips and what she does. What does she eat in a day? Instead of going to the trained professionals who actually know how to help us move the needle forward. We think that talking to the tiniest girl in the gym, and if we can then do exactly what she's doing, we're going to be happy. We're going to get a smaller body, and that's going to make us happy. But we don't really know if the smallest girl in the gym is the smallest girl in the gym because genetically she's just the smallest person, or if she has disordered eating. But we are so sold on the outcome of shrinking our body that we'll do whatever she says in the hopes of fixing our perceived flaw that we've been told that we have of being in a body that's too large. It's an endless cycle of dissatisfaction, where as women, we feel that we need to buy more products and find new solutions to this never-ending list of flaws that the health, wellness, beauty, and fitness industries continue to sell us. The standard view in health and wellness often views what it means to be a woman, like menstruation, menopause, perimenopause, pregnancy, postpartum, as problems to be solved. We get classified as a special population when we're going through these very normal phases of life. This narrative emphasizes that a woman's body simply following their natural biological cycles is something that is flawed or failing. It places unrealistic expectation on a woman to suppress and to control their body in ways that it was never meant to be suppressed, instead of embracing it for all of its power and what it can do. I am here to tell you that you don't need to fix or control your body. You simply need to learn to love it and embrace it and find the power that it already has within it. But the problem goes deeper than what you might even realize. And I think it's important to highlight this section and some of the historical things that have happened to us as women so that we can understand how vast we are misunderstood and misguided in our health and wellness. Before 1993, women were rarely included in medical trials. Unfortunately, still today, we're underrepresented. Often the results are so gender biased in treatment and in care because of that. That means women are more likely to get misdiagnosed, receive inaccurate doses of medications, and receive ineffective treatment plans. A prime example of this, and there are many, let me tell you, but a prime example of this is despite heart disease being one of the leading causes of death in the United States for both men and women, the medical field only recognized that women experience different symptoms from the disease than men did when the American Heart Association published a guide to preventative cardiology for women in 1999. In the upcoming podcast episodes, we're going to be talking about all of this and more. I'm going to be interviewing other women who are embracing health and wellness and fitness from a whole new lens, who are diving into some of these historical biases, who are changing the way we are looking at health and wellness for women moving forward. Women who are boldly exploring what it really means to feel good in your own body. Women who are living as if they were never told these limiting social expectations to make themselves smaller or younger or quieter. And they were told, they're just deciding not to listen anymore. Women who have decided to embrace and love their wrinkles, their gray hair, their non-alcoholic cocktails, and the body that has carried them through years of life. Women who are giving up hours of cardio, giving up restrictive diets, giving up the idea of people pleasing, giving up the idea of striving for perfection in the name of health, because really a lot of those things are robbing them of their health. Today, we are going to learn to shift our focus and learn to love the idea of becoming. I'm going to help you learn how to take your power back instead of continuing to do the things that actually take the power from you. We're 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 going to talk about ways that you've been convinced that you are broken. And then if you do this one thing, you'll get your power back. But that conversation always has a but attached to it. For example, you've been conditioned to think that taking your power back is injecting $500 worth of toxins into your face so that you can look 31 instead of 41. But that never actually solves the problem. We're going to talk about how do you take your power back and learn to love your face as it is, the unique, personalized, handcrafted, sculpted face that has embodied all the moments of your laughter, your joy, some of your pain, the history of your life. How do you learn to become the person that loves that face? Taking your power back means falling in love with the idea of becoming the you that you have always meant to be and the you that you have lived in, instead of becoming that heavily edited, filtered, and photoshopped version of yourself. Instead of striving relentlessly for this perfect ideal that you've been sold because someone promised it would bring you joy. But in reality, all it brought you was more to-dos, more misery, more restriction, and a lowered self-esteem because you can never make the mark. If you don't already, I invite you to follow me on Instagram and on YouTube at Andrea K Wellness and to stay connected and have more ways to interact with myself and our community there. We really have the best group of ladies, and I am so excited for you to join the sisterhood that we've created there so that you don't feel alone as you find the power within yourself and in redefining your own health and your own wellness. What I want you to take away from today's episode is that it is time to redefine your health and wellness, leaving behind the social norms and the limiting self-beliefs so that you can find security, power, and joy from within. Instead of always searching for someone else's approval, instead of always looking for someone else's measuring stick, a measuring stick, to be quite honest, that you are greater than anyway. I want you to get comfortable setting boundaries and deciding what makes your face beautiful, what size your body is okay being, ways to prioritize your health under the lens of function instead of under the lens of aesthetics. Ways to prioritize, I can do hard things. I can pick up heavy things. I can get out of bed without achy joints. I can get on the floor with my grandchildren. I can do the job that I love. I want you to be bold and take back the power and get comfortable in the process of becoming instead of searching for outcomes that you have tied to an emotion. Understanding that the outcome that you think you want rarely produces the emotion that you've linked to it. But instead, becoming in the process of living, in the process of celebrating, and in understanding womanhood through all its phases, menstruation, menopause, perimenopause, whatever. And that process of becoming, and that process of celebrating, and that process of understanding womanhood, that is where you find what you've always been looking for. You think that if you lose those 10 to 15 pounds, then you will be happy. Then you will feel good in the picture. You think that if you freeze your face with Botox and you don't have expression lines, then you will be happy. Then you will be happy to be in the picture. You think that if you please and you overachieve, then you'll get recognition and you will be happy. But what I want for you, for your daughters, for your nieces, for your sisters, for your granddaughters, for your daughter-in-laws, for your friends, for all women, what I want for all women is to understand and for you to see health and wellness and fitness. It doesn't have to be a mystery or a frustration or something that you talk about but is always unachievable. It doesn't have to be something that you dread, but it can be something that you embody. Have you ever met somebody that when they walk into a room, they just embody this energy? That's what I want you to embody. I want you to just have that energy about you because you're so confident in who you are and how you're showing up to the world. And it has nothing to do with your lack of wrinkles, your lack of gray hair, the size pants that you're wearing, but everything to do with how you feel within your own body. You're able to advocate for yourself. You're able to say what you want and what you need. That is health. That is wellness. That is the level that we are trying to achieve and the level that we want to pass down to the ladies that are coming after us. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing one of my past Pilates instructors. For those of you that don't know, I am still heavily into the fitness world. I am a certified personal trainer. I also own a Pilates studio and I have multiple teachers that teach for me. I happen to love Pilates because I feel like Pilates is the side of fitness that does focus on function and your body and how it moves and how it reacts to movement versus how it looks. Like with any sector, there are some parts of Pilates that could be very focused on aesthetics, but the side that I know and love and the side that I share is the side that celebrates the body and what it is capable of. So I'm going to be interviewing one of my past teachers, Megan, and she recently moved. Well, gosh, it's almost been a year now, to be honest. But anyway, she moved to Nashville several months ago. So I'm interviewing her, and she's going to be sharing a bit of her story and what it is like to be a single, non-drinking 20-something with a super stressful job that sometimes requires long, 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 long hours and living in a town that is hyper focused on image and aesthetics and booze. So kind of everything that she is not is where she is living. So we're going to be talking about that with her and some of her struggles and how is she finding her people? How is she finding her new studio that she's working out with that has the same values and joys that she has? How is she managing showing up not drinking in a society, in a town that it is like the Vegas of the East, right? Of the Eastern states. So she's going to be giving us a life update. She's going to be sharing all of that. It is one that you don't want to miss. And if you know Megan personally, spoiler alert, she's going to be sharing a very secret project that she's been working on. It may or may not be a Christmas movie that she may or may not have some cameos in. So you're not going to want to miss that because it's going to be, or it may or may not be coming out this December. So anyway, you're going to want to listen to that. You're going to want to listen to all our upcoming podcasts because y'all, we're going to dig in. I cannot wait to share this with you. I am so happy you are here and I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, write me a review, tell me what you want to talk about, what you loved about this episode, and I will see you next time.